We are now joined by one of my favorite people, maybe the nicest person in the business and the best play-by-play guy, Ian Eagle of CBS Sports. Ian, how are you?
What a setup, Matt. So I have to actually be nice now on this interview. I was going to be not so nice, but now that you've said that, it changes everything.
Now you don't have a choice but to. Ian was good to us back when nobody was, and you're calling the UK games. You've called a few UK games this year. What's your breakdown on the team?
Breakdown is there's always a little bit of drama with Kentucky. I think that's just par for the course. I think in a way, John Calipari is comfortable with that. There aren't a lot of guys that are. Most coaches try to shy away from it. I think John likes the action, he likes the activity, he likes the chatter. With that said, they're really talented. They're certainly equipped to go on a long run, but it's never a smooth road for whatever reason. And this year's no different.
You've known Cal since he was with the Nets and UMass, and I think Cal would consider you also a friend. And so tell people out there who don't know Cal the person as opposed to the coach something about him.
John is a very proud person, I will say that, and I think people realize that. He actually has an excellent sense of humor, and in person is more self-deprecating than you would imagine. I think the general perception would be that John has a very large ego, and I think to do the job that he's done for so many years, you have to have a healthy ego. But I think John does remember where he came from, and John recognizes the path that he took, and that this was not automatic and in the stars. He worked his butt off to get to where he is, and there is an appreciation for that when you've gotten to know him, that he's a grinder. At the core of who he is, he's a grinder.
You're in the midst of something you've said to me is one of your most fun, but also your hardest things, which is you do 4 games in one day. I think you got LSU, Yale, you got Maryland, Belmont, you got Kentucky, Abilene Christian, and then you have Wofford, Seton Hall. 4 games in one day. How do you do that?
Is that a problem that not one of those teams resonated with me, that I'm like, wait, do I have those teams? Because that's really what you start doing. You start questioning who you actually have and who's playing whom. It's 22 years of doing it, and what I've tried to tell myself every year, and I probably should do this because I talk about it, I should write myself a letter, seal the letter, and then open it right before the first game. And all the letter would say is, it's going to be okay, because there's this feeling of being overwhelmed when you get your assignment. It's just so much information. You want to do the job well, and you want to do right by the teams. You know this is their moment in the sun. So the pressure I feel and stress is really based on doing good work, but ultimately it all works out. But I got to tell you, when you get that assignment, it is chaos in your head for a 72-hour period, and then once the first game starts, everything seems to fall into place and click.
It's probably harder for like Abilene Christian than Kentucky, because it's probably not a team you followed the whole year.
Who's this now? Yeah.
It's my friend Abilene. Last thing, all your moments of doing the NCAA tournament, you say you've done it for 22 years. Give me your favorite 1 or 2. You look back and you go, I was there for that, and that was an awesome experience.
You know, I did the Butler-Duke championship game for the World Feed, which airs in Great Britain and airs in Israel and airs in Indonesia. I'm huge in Indonesia. I cannot walk the streets of Indonesia.
A lot of people in Indonesia. So.
Yeah. I'm physically big in Indonesia. So that was an unbelievable game, one of the best games I've ever called. And then from a CBS standpoint, there was a year in Cleveland. West Virginia played Wake Forest. Double overtime game, second round. Chris Paul, his last collegiate game. And Kevin Pittsnagel.
I loved Pittsnagel.
Tremendous name, made big shots, Mike Gansey. That's a game that really sticks with me because I'm not sure anybody picked West Virginia that year, and it was special. It was one of those indelible moments.
Pittsnagel was so perfectly West Virginia. He looked like he had dip in while he played.
I would say he wore jorts. That's a fair assessment for you, man.
Very fair. Ian Eagle, thank you very much.